Uhuru, Uhuru, and welcome. Welcome to a very special Facebook Live, Ask the Doctor series presented by All African People's Development and Empowerment Project. My name is Dr. Aisha Fields, and I am the International Director of APDEP and your host for today's program. Those who may not be familiar with us, APDEP is an African community-led development organization established by the African People's Socialist Party in 2007. Our mission is to win African people around the world to contribute our skills towards building African dual-power development programs in areas of agriculture, education, healthcare, disaster preparedness, and emergency response. APDEP was formed to bring Africa's skills to the African Revolution and forward into a united, liberated Africa. Guided by the revolutionary theory of African internationalism, APDEP members recognize the unity of all African people. We reject all false physical and mental borders that would seek to separate African people from each other, from our national homeland, Africa. APDEP members recognize that our primary contradiction as a people is political. Contradiction is not racism, the ideas in the minds of white people. It isn't bad governance or lack of education, it is colonialism. African internationalism teaches us that African people, no matter where we are located, exist as a colonized or dominated people. This means that every aspect of our lives, politics, economics, health, education, and other things, are all controlled by a foreign and alien state power, by white power, even if it sometimes shows up in blackface. And just as Africa's mineral and other natural resources are stolen by the US and Europe, are used to build the schools, hospitals, homes, medicines, other things needed to create and sustain a high quality of life for the white world, Africa's human resources have been used to do the same. This is not a new phenomenon. African people who became enslaved in the Americas were not just exploited for our labor, for our skills. Our kidnapped and enslaved ancestors were agriculturalists, teachers, artists, healers, architects, and more. And just as Africa's gold, diamonds, coltan, cocoa, fertile farmland, and other resources must be taken back from our oppressors, so must our skills. Given the reality of our colonial conditions, African people cannot afford to continue to turn our skills over to our oppressors. We must have all hands on deck, reverse the flow of our skills back to the genuine development of Africa and African people. And there is no higher expression of the consolidated interests African people than that which is forwarded by the African Revolution, led by the African People's Socialist Party. That was created by the African People's Socialist Party as our vehicle through which Africans with specialized skills can stop simply selling them to the highest imperialist bidder and instead bring them back home and into the process that will free our people from the abusive colonial relationship that has been imposed on us for more than 600 years. Over the years, APDEP has built a variety of dual power programs that not only help to improve our immediate material conditions as a people, that give us a growing independent capacity to meet our own needs. We work to negate the role that the colonial state plays in our lives. We have built rainwater harvesting systems, trained hundreds of community health workers, infant and maternal health centers, a variety of youth adult educational programs, vocational school, nursery school, community farms, garden collectives, gardens, and more. Today's program is called Build Project Black Ankh. We'll focus on APDEP's work to further develop our people's capacity to prepare for and respond to natural disasters and other emergencies that may happen anywhere in the African world. We will be joined today by retired registered nurse, NPWM Director of Economic Development, and Project Black Ankh's Medical Volunteer Coordinator, Kofi Alkebalan. Michelle Odom, APDEP's Mental Health Program Coordinator, and our Ask the Doctor's producer. And our keynote will be given by Chairman Omali Eshatella, leader and founder of the Uhuru Movement, the African Socialist International. Right now, we really want to send our love to Dr. Loretta King, Project Black Ankh's lead provider for our international COVID-19 telehealth program, who was scheduled to join us today, who has had a family medical emergency and sends her regrets. Today's webinar is the kickoff event for a fundraising campaign for Project Black Ankh. Specifically, it is a fundraiser to send an APDEP contingent to Cuba as part of a friendship caravan organized by IFCO Pastors for Peace organization deeply committed to Cuban solidarity, and which coordinates the US-based student scholarship program offered by Cuba to attend their prestigious Latin American School of Medicine. Our goal this afternoon is to raise $2,000 of our overall $6,000 goal needed to send our forces to Cuba. In the next part of this program, we will spend some time laying out the history, mission, the work, and the vision of Project Black Ankh, along with the goals for the trip to Cuba, how it is all tied to the development of Project Black Ankh, a more secure, self-determined future for the entire African nation. Before going any further, I want to let all of our viewers know that APTEP wishes to dedicate this webinar the memory of the likely hundreds of thousands of African people around the world who have died the consequence of the colonial coronavirus, COVID-19. In the US and other imperialist centers, African people died disproportionately from this disease. It is estimated that at least 1 in 3 African people have lost a loved one from COVID-19, the disease that our chairman, Malia Shatella, has termed colonial virus, not only due to the devastating impact it has had on African and other colonized people, but because we are trapped in the colonial relationship with our oppressors, which does not allow our collective ability to respond to this pandemic as a self-governing people in a way that protects the lives of our people and our nation. Our party and our movement have been deeply and personally impacted by the colonial virus, having lost dear comrades and loved ones even in this most recent period. Right now, I want to take a moment to send our deepest, most profound love and condolences to our Deputy Chair, Onazene Shatella, and our Chairman, Malia Shatella, the recent loss of their son, Octavius Deontay Clark. Octavius, a much beloved son, father, brother, nephew, and friend, passed away on August 27, 2021, after a hard-fought battle with COVID-19. He was 44 years old. Rest in power, Octavius. Your memory will live long to all who knew and loved you. We place the responsibility for your untimely death squarely at the feet of the colonial capitalist system, and will do our best to honor you, all of our other brothers, sisters, and comrades, for our work to overturn the relationship that African people have this vicious social system. Long live Octavius. Uhuru. Now, I'd like to take some time to really help us all understand the following question. What is Project Black Ankh? What is its mission, vision, and work? Why must African people and those in genuine solidarity with our struggle for national liberation support it? Black Ankh is the humanitarian aid and disaster relief program for the African nation. We promote self-reliance and self-determination for African people, practice African internationalist solidarity with the oppressed and colonized people of the world. Established in 2014, APTEP in response to the Ebola epidemic in West Africa, Project Black Ankh's primary mission is to carry out relief operations to assist African victims of natural disasters and other emergencies anywhere they may occur in the African world. More than 10 years ago, our chairman, Malia Shatella, called on APTEP to establish an entity that could always be involved in the process of preparing African communities to respond to emergencies, and that could develop the capacity to be activated to dispatch emergency response forces anywhere. The name and the concept for Black Ankh was inspired by an African man in Europe, who, while engaging our chairman during one of his organizing tours there, and lamenting about the devastation faced by African people in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. It was clear we could not rely on the Red Cross or any other imperialist NGOs or charities to save us. He suggested Africans must have our own response to the Red Cross, the building a Black Ankh, Airmen United. Ankh is an ancient African symbol for life. We intend to build Black Ankh as a universally recognized, trusted, and supported organization working to secure the life, health, and well-being of African people around the world. Our first Project Black Ankh campaign was initiated in 2014 in Sierra Leone, West Africa, the location of APTEP's first and some of our most powerful development programs to date. Through Project Black Ankh's inaugural Sierra Leone initiative, APDEP members and volunteers facilitated the training of more than 50 community health workers, the prevention and identification of Ebola virus disease. We coordinated food, water, medicines, and sanitation supplies for 40 Ebola survivors and their families, and worked with local community entertainers to develop jingles and skits that were brought throughout communities, raising Ebola survivors as heroes, helping to break stigma that many face when returning home. This initial Project Black Ankh work not only provided us with the confidence we could successfully build our own African response to the emergency needs of our people, it offered us a template for what future Black Ankh work looked like once built to capacity. With a fuller vision of our program, we decided that Black Ankh's work must focus on the following: disaster preparedness, humanitarian aid, and emergency response. Since our initial work in Sierra Leone, Project Black Ankh has responded to the needs of African people in Houston, Texas, the US, in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. It has been extremely active in this period of the colonial coronavirus pandemic. We're going to talk a little bit more about APDEP's COVID-19 work shortly with Comrade Al-Kibalan. Right now, I want to take a few moments to lay out what our goals are for a fully actualized Black Ankh, and how this trip to Cuba can potentially help to advance this work. I want to first start with our vision for Project Black Ankh disaster preparedness work. Our goal here is to establish Project Black Ankh community brigades in African communities around the world. The purpose of the Project Black Ankh community brigades is to have members of the African community who are trained to respond to natural disasters and other emergencies that may occur in their local community. So for example, I live in Huntsville, Alabama, in an area called the Tennessee Valley. We often have the potential for tornadoes in the spring and the fall seasons here. And so one aspect of what a Project Black Ankh community brigade here would be engaged in is training for how to respond to the community's needs during and after a tornado. The Project Black Ankh brigade would be prepared to alert our community to the threat, mobilize us to collectively deal with any issues we may have in the aftermath of a tornado, including dealing with downed trees, damage to homes, providing food, water, or other supplies needed by members of the community, and where possible, mobilizing emotional and other forms of support that may be needed. Project Black Ankh community brigades would mobilize whatever resources and skills needed to respond in the face of a natural disaster or emergency, including boats, other equipment needed to respond to emergency flooding and other situations. Regular training, recruitment, and resource building will be features of the work of our community brigades. Our job is to build them everywhere. The organization of Black Ankh community brigades will mean that we will have dedicated members of our community who are ready to respond in times of emergency, natural disaster. Another important aspect of our Project Black Ankh work is to build our emergency medical response capacity. Here, we intend to build trained emergency medical response teams that can be dispatched throughout the African world. There are epidemics, natural disasters, and other emergencies requiring a united African humanitarian response. This work is inspired heavily by the life-saving work of the Cuban Henry Reeve brigades, which have responded to emergencies in Africa, the Caribbean, and many other parts of the world as part of Cuba's long history of medical internationalism, solidarity with the colonized and suffering masses of the world's people. It is this aspect of Project Black Ankh's work that we hope to advance by participating in the IFCO-led caravan to Cuba. APDEP contingent to Cuba will include Dr. Loretta King, our COVID-19 International Telehealth Program lead provider, Kofi Al-Kibalan, APDEP's Medical Programs Volunteer Coordinator, Benicio Luzolo, APDEP's Director of Information Education, and myself. This caravan will offer us an opportunity to learn about all the exemplary ways that Cuba has responded to COVID-19, including healthcare screening, contact tracing and treatment responses, social safety net, mass vaccination campaign using its own vaccines, as international medical brigades. The trip will allow APDEP to deepen our relationship with IFCO, hopefully with other forces affiliated with the Cuban medical system, as APDEP seeks a relationship that will allow our medical volunteers to be trained in the Cuban model of epidemic and emergency response. We also want to learn more about and be trained in the Cuban model of community organizing for natural disasters and other emergencies, as we feel strongly that Cuba likely has the best model of community health medical response in the world. Also, Cuba's long history of medical internationalism and other forms of solidarity with African and other colonized people make it best suited to train anti-colonial Project Black Ankh medical brigades that we intend to build under the leadership of APDEP. This trip represents a first step in that direction. It can also position APDEP under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party and the International African Revolution, offer our material and political solidarity with the revolutionary government and people of Cuba in ways that can be explored for our participation in this trip. The Cuban example serves as incredible inspiration for APDEP as we work to build our own independent systems of health and emergency response for African people. African people must be able to protect and defend our own all around the world. No more should we have to sit by watching as our people die by the thousands or hundreds of thousands in earthquakes, disease outbreaks, and floods, wondering who we can trust, what organizations we can support to get supplies and relief to our people. No longer will we exist as sitting ducks, unaware or unprepared for emergencies and natural disasters coming our way, even as we know that the imperialist created climate catastrophe will only create more weather emergencies that will impact African people disproportionately. We can and we must build Project Black Ankh to capacity. This webinar, this campaign, this trip to Cuba that it will fund will bring us one step closer to creating the future of safety and security that all African people, in fact, all human beings deserve. I want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon for this special Ask the Doctors program. I want to thank you for the role that hopefully you are coming to understand that you must play in the development of Project Black Ankh. Soon, you will hear from Project Black Ankh medical volunteer coordinator as to how to provide life-saving medical support around the world through our international COVID-19 telehealth program. You will also hear from our leader, chairman of the African People's Socialist Party and leader of the Uhuru movement. He helps to deepen our understanding of the need for Project Black Ankh, the dual power organization of the African Revolution. And you will hear how you can help us meet our goal of raising $2,000 a day by joining APDEP or becoming a one-time donor or a sustainer. Time is now to build Project Black Ankh capacity. Our people need this program now more than ever. Joining us now to show us how you can help us to meet our goal for today's webinar is Comrade Michelle Odom, chair of APDEP's Mental Health Programs Committee and producer of this show, monthly Ask the Doctor series. Uhuru, Comrade Michelle, and welcome.
Uhuru, Uhuru, Dr. Fields, and Uhuru, everyone, thank you for joining us. I am very moved again by seeing, just sitting with the vision of Project Black Ankh, how far we've come. And I'm very excited today. And, you know, if you don't feel moved at this point, then we have more for you to understand how you can support Project Black Ankh, how you can also join APDEP, because it's truly that this is a program that has the genuine interest of saving African lives and putting our future back in our hands. So again, my name is Michelle, and I'm excited to lead our call for membership and donation portion of today's program. I just again want to salute you, Dr. Aisha Fields, and salute Chairman and the vision that Chairman had in laying out the foundation for an organization like APDEP to exist and Project Black Ankh to truly come to fruition. And I want to give a big uhuru and appreciation again to all our medical volunteers for their love, dedication, and skills. Black Ankh. And I can say from personal experience that I'm very grateful and confident in this program and what it means to have a program like this as an African. So now it is our turn, and it's your turn, our live viewers, to help us truly build Project Black Ankh to its capacity and the vision that Dr. Aisha Fields laid forward. I want to take this opportunity to ask our technical engineer to pull up our slides so we can walk our viewers through both of our memberships levels and also the donation levels for how you can build Project Black Ankh. So again, we are calling on you to build Project Black Ankh, this important African-led program for self-determination and power over our own lives. Our goal again is to raise $2,000 to build Project Black Ankh today. And I want to encourage everyone watching on Zoom or on Facebook to consider what it means to give to Project Black Ankh by making a donation today. You're welcome to make a pledge also throughout the program, but we really want to encourage our viewers and supporters to make a donation. And this will go directly towards supporting our medical volunteer and our advisory committee to go make this important trip to Cuba to learn from this important, inspiring model. Okay, so next slide. First, we want to show you how the many ways that you can donate. You can make a donation by going to developmentforafrica.org/donate, or you can also, and then also membership, we have both of them on there, but we'll get to that in a moment. Also with PayPal, you can also support ABDEP by going on PayPal, on our PayPal handle, paypal.me/ABDEP. We also have Cash App, so you can find us at $AAPDEP. And you can also mail in your support for ABDEP as a member or as donations at 2205 Suite F, University Drive, Huntsville, Alabama, 35816. ABDEP is a 501c3 tax-deductible organization. So for those of you who want to make that contribution, please go ahead and do so. And lastly, you can always support ABDEP by becoming a sustaining member, which I will talk about in just a few moments by going to developmentforafrica.org/membership. So again, we want to encourage those who are listening on Facebook and Zoom to let us know how much you want to donate or support for ABDEP today so we can appreciate you on today's program. So Uhuru, let's jump into our next part of the program. So again, as you know, ABDEP is responsible for building many programs in the areas of education, healthcare, agriculture, and disaster preparedness and emergency response. We are a membership-based organization, so it would behoove me to say that ABDEP does not rely on the support of its members. So we want you to join ABDEP today or rejoin or renew your membership, because ABDEP members recognize that their skills do not belong to us as individuals, but that these skills belong to the African nation and must go towards creating liberation for our children and our people. So let's use today to not just walk away or just talk about self-determination. But we want you to contribute to this work ABDEP is doing. So what does an ABDEP member stand for? Well, let's look at the principles of unity. All who participate in ABDEP must do so under the leadership of ABDEP in order to meet the organization's goals and objectives. That's number one. Number two, all African people, we believe that wherever we may be located are one people. Number three, the resources of Africa are the birthright of African people everywhere. African people need self-determination, not charity. And number five, any skill possessed by any African anywhere does not belong to that individual African, but rather they belong to and must be used for the benefit and masses of African people everywhere. So if you unite with any of those, all of those, today is the day to join ABDEP. So I want our participants who are even listening right now, if your membership is expired and needs to be renewed, I want to start with you to go ahead and join ABDEP today, renew your membership, rejoin ABDEP, become a new member today. If that's you, please take this opportunity right now to renew, join, or let us know in the chat how you want to support. All right, next slide. So we're going to look at our sustaining levels, and we're going to talk about each of them briefly. But here's just a quick view of ABDEP's levels of membership. So you can get involved at any level. We have levels for anybody from unemployed all the way to our lifetime membership, which is our Omawali K-Fing Sustainer, which is our Kwame Nkrumah Sustainer membership. So we're going to break into those right now on our next slide. So while we let our listeners and our supporters renew and rejoin ABDEP or join for the first time, we want to begin our membership drive by looking at our Kwame Nkrumah level. So I want to start with this level mainly because it's our lifetime membership level, but if you understand the significance of ABDEP and that we have the resources to do what we need to do, it's important to understand that a level like this is saying that any way that we can contribute. So any membership level that you see here, you can break them up into smaller payments, to like $100 a month or so, any other smaller increments that you need, or you can make a $1,000 contribution today to become a lifetime member of ABDEP today by making a $1,000 contribution. And of course, we have some gifts for our members, some kickbacks. So when you join at this level, you will get an ABDEP membership card, a subscription to our online newsletter, ABDEP button, ABDEP t-shirt, ABDEP hat, and 30% off at Zenzele Consignment once per year, which is the economic development program for ABDEP. So if you're looking at this level and you think maybe I can't make the 1,000 right now, but I want to make smaller increments to become a lifetime member of ABDEP, go so and do so that right now. Put it in the chat or go to www.developmentforafrica.org/membership. Uhuru. So next slide. All right. So next, if you join us at our Amy Jacques Garvey level, this is our $500 a year sustaining membership. Go ahead over to our page right now, make it official. Members who join at the Amy Jacques Garvey level can choose to break this up again into smaller payments, whatever you can do, or make your one-time $500 contribution and call it done. This level includes, again, your membership card, a subscription to the online newsletter, ABDEP button, ABDEP t-shirt, and $25 or 25% off at the Zenzele Consignment once per year. Make your contributions today. Your skills are highly needed, and both material and human resources. So make that contribution today. Uhuru. All right, as we go through our sustaining memberships, we will look at our $365 a year level, which is represented by African martyr, Amilcar Cabral. Yes, that's $365 for 1 year, which is $1 a day. You can set up a $1 a day payment if you want, or you could just do the 365 or break it up however you want. But again, you will get your card, your newsletter, your button, your t-shirt, and 20% off at Zenzele Consignment. Again, to make your contribution, www.developmentforafrica.org/membership. So as you may have noticed at this point, each membership level is represented by an African freedom fighter, because these are Africans who have contributed greatly to the struggle for African liberation. So help us support and continue their legacy by making a contribution today. Maybe you can't envision yourself as an active member at this time, but you know that you want to support the programs of ABDEP. So to support these programs, you're still saying something when you put your resources and your commitment towards the people and our children's future. So be like Kwame Nkrumah, be like Amilcar Cabral, be like Sister Amy Jacques Garvey, return your resources and your skills, become a member today. All right, next slide. We have Queen Mother Moore level at $250 a year, sustaining membership level. This comes out to roughly like $21 a month. So $21 a month, y'all. So Queen Mother Moore is another important African freedom fighter who struggled alongside our chairman and other Africans in the fight for liberation, putting reparations on the agenda, making it a genuine demand and right for African people. So again, you can join at the Queen Mother Moore level for $250 a year. Break it up any way you want, but you will get a membership card, newsletter, ABDEP button, ABDEP t-shirt, and again, the 15% off at Zenzele Consignment once per year. So join today, make it official. We're winding down with our sustaining membership levels. So we encourage you to right now, if you need to leave and come right back, go ahead and join ABDEP, return your skills today. All right, next slide. Uhuru. So next is what I have to say, my favorite level and the level that I joined at, that I still am a member at with ABDEP. And this is our Frantz Fanon level at $120 for the year, or about $10 a month. When you join at this level, you will receive, again, your membership card, your newsletter, and ABDEP. Oh, I think I have it wrong there, but you'll see it right there, and an ABDEP button and all the other, yes, and an ABDEP button, thank you. And I have to say this about this African revolutionary intellectual and psychologist who contributed to the Algerian resistance against the French. Fanon's contributions, you know, and his ideas about mental health colonialism have really inspired many revolutionary struggles, including this one. So as someone who was given the opportunity, for him, the ability to live comfortably under the system that we enjoy, Fanon understood that resistance was necessary for colonized people. So I just want to really salute all of our revolutionaries so far, but if anybody wants to join at the Frantz Fanon level and join me, then I encourage you to do that right now. Make a mention in the chat or on Zoom, or go straight to our page, because ABDEP itself is a form of resistance. Project Black Ankh is a form of resistance and a positive solution and response to the conditions that we face as a globally oppressed people. So join today at the Frantz Fanon level and go to our website. You know where to find it, and you can join today. And I want to thank anybody who has joined so far or who has made any contributions. We will be sure to wrap that up in a little bit. But we're going to go on to our next slide, where we have our $5 a month or one-time $60 contribution at the Ida B. Wells level. When you join at this level, you will receive an ABDEP membership card, newsletter, sticker, and 10% off at Zenzele Consignment again. Ida B. Wells was an investigative journalist. This is an important role, really, truly, especially as we're talking about Project Black Ankh. When you have colonial news and colonial media who want to control the narrative about our oppression. So Chairman says that the oppressors are the subjects of history, yet African people, we are the objects of history. So as the objects of history, we have the right to tell the truth about our conditions. And when you join ABDEP, you will be exposed to revolutionary theory and practice. So if you care about your story or our story being told as it should be, consider join at the Ida B. Wells level for only $5 a month or a one-time contribution of $60. No more being neutral, no more feeling like you can't do anything to support the struggle. Our story will not be summed up in any other way unless told through the eyes of the African working class. So if this speaks to you, join at this level today by going to www.developmentforafrica.org/membership. All right, next slide. We're winding down with our memberships. We have the Walter Rodney level. This sustaining level is $25, roughly about $25 a month comes up to, which is about, which kind of breaks down to, wait a minute, y'all. Okay, there we go. $25 per year, which breaks down to about $2 a month. My math is bad. But when you join at this level, you will receive, again, our membership card and a subscription to our newsletter. As you know, ABDEP organizes African intellectuals. So African people with skills that must be returned must hand over our skills from the oppressor and not to the highest bidder. This is a really important level because our skills belong again to the advancement of our people. So if you want to stand on the right side of that question, as you see the quote here by Walter Rodney, it's very clear that you must unite with programs like ABDEP, with programs like Project Black Ankh. And this is our lowest sustaining membership level at roughly, like I said, $2 a month or a one-time donation of $25 at the Walter Rodney level. Woo. So here we go, our last membership level. This is not a sustaining membership level like our others, but first I want to really salute and say long live to Comrade Omawale Kefing, who passed in July 2019 and really committed his life to the struggle. This level is for students and the unemployed for only $10 a year. So $10 a year, $10 a year. When you join at this level, you will receive an ABDEP membership card and join other Africans committed to the struggle for development of programs in the areas of education, healthcare, agriculture, and humanitarian aid. To join at this level, you understand that as Secretary General Loizy stated in his brilliant article about the role of African intellectuals, that means you students, it is, quote, "It is our view that African students must first serve the people. Their education must be used to develop the organizational and fighting abilities of the people against neocolonialism. Students cannot be apolitical because those universities that they are in are not apolitical. There is no such thing as an apolitical institution under slavery. You are either for or against. You either support it or you fight it. So if you are a student who wants to side on the side of the people and you want to join this fight, or you can do it at the $10 level, join today at the $10 level, Omawale Kefing, today, right now, go to our website and uhuru. So our next slide, we're just going to look quickly again at all of our sustaining levels as before we move into our donation portion to build Project Black Ankh. But as you can see, you can join all the way from our $10 a month level to becoming a lifetime membership level at about $84 a month. So take some time right now to kind of go through that, and we're going to move on. But we do want you to remember to just join ABDEP today. Tell a friend if you have somebody in your family or somebody who you know has skills and works for the African community, but knows that when you don't have power, you're not really serving the African community, join ABDEP today. Uhuru. So as we transition, the reason that we're all here today is because of one, that electrifying and humbling presentation from Dr. Aisha Fields. Here we are now as African people, knowing that we have a right to respond to the crises that occur in our community all over the world. We are here because we are inspired by our Cuban brothers and sisters who have showed the world that what love for the people truly looks like. We are here because we understand that through their fearless and uncontinuous fight has served the most oppressed among us in the name of humanity and human dignity. We are here for Project Black Ankh, developed by the African People's Socialist Party and organized by APTA. It has been with us during this colonial virus to give us quality information, support, access to medical professionals who are here to support African people during this time when we had no place else to look during the colonial virus, which is still happening. We are here because Project Black Ankh needs your support to grow itself to its capacity and to take on full responsibility for our future of our children, and every African and colonized person on this earth, because African people, we are one people. Uhuru. So I know that we will make or exceed our fundraising goal today, not only because we need to send our medical advisory team to Cuba to learn from this success, but because we all want to unite and build a solid foundation for Project Black Ankh. So if you are just tuning in, welcome. And we are moving into our donation portion for our program for today. So right now, please like and share and tag your friends, your colleagues, your family to participate in today's fundraiser. Yes, you can still donate afterwards, but we do encourage you to do so today, right now, during our webinar, because what other time than the present? So throughout this portion, let us know how you are donating on the live stream or on Zoom so that we can announce it and send our appreciation. All right, so let's build Project Black Ankh. Uhuru. All right, so again, fundraising goal is to raise $2,000 towards our overall support. And look, it's been said, but I will say it again. We already know what organizations like the Red Cross or other NGOs or humanitarian organizations, right? We know that they can rally thousands of dollars, thousands of people to collect and solicit money. We know that they have been around for many years. We know that what they have, but then we also know what they have really actually done for our people. We already know the answer. And that's why we're here today. So we are here to build Project Black Ankh. Next slide. So here is a look at donor levels. And actually, yeah, sorry, this is how to donate. Thank you, comrade. This is how you can donate for today's fundraiser. So you can make a donation at any level. And again, you can go to our website, www.developmentforafrica.org/donate. You can go on PayPal or Cash App as well, or mail in your donation as well. If you're going to do any of those, you can make a pledge or make a mention on our Facebooks or Zoom so we can know where we are at. Uhuru. Okay, next level or next slide. Okay, perfect. So Project Black Ankh donor levels. You can make a contribution in many ways, but again, we encourage you to do it today. So these are our levels that we will talk about in just a quick moment. So we want to make this an opportunity for anybody who cares, and no matter how how little or as many resources as you have to make an opportunity. So next slide, we're going to look at our first donation level, which is titled our Project Black Ankh supporter level. So any donation made at this level, which is as little as $1 to $49, will receive the following gifts in appreciation: a thank you card and a Project Black Ankh sticker that you can place anywhere from your car window to your phone cover to your notebook, however you want to use it. But making a donation at this level simply says that you unite with African people having the right to organize and come to our own rescue. And we know that we cannot wait or rely on humanitarian, colonial humanitarian programs to save us. We know what happens historically, right? When they extract money from our communities in the form of donations to respond to a natural disaster, they might, do something like fix a broken pipe or replace a bridge or, build 6 permanent structures like they did in the earthquake in Haiti. But we don't need any more reasons to put our resources anywhere else but towards programs like Project Black Ankh and others who care about the health and well-being of the most oppressed people on this earth. So make a donation today at the Project Black Ankh level. Again, the simplest way that you can support, from $1 to $49. And again, you can go to our website, developmentforafrica.org/donate. Uhuru. So our next donation level is the development level. So any donation in the range of $50 to $99, when you make a donation at this level, you again will receive a thank you card, Project Black Ankh sticker, and a Project Black Ankh button. Our buttons are real dope. I think y'all would like them. You can rock. The good thing about this too is that we understand that it's really a time for us to understand like what development looks like. I appreciate this level because Project Black Ankh is genuine development, right? Giving the power for the people to rebuild and develop as they see fit. So if you unite with it on just even that basic level, join, or not join, but make a donation at the development level today, anywhere between $50 and $99 to support this donation level. Uhuru. All right, so next slide. Our next level is the empowerment level for donations that are between $100 and $249 range. Empowerment is not just a word, right? When there's organization and power and unity tied to it. So this is what Project Black Ankh stands for. When you make a donation at this level, you will receive again your thank you card, a Project Black Ankh sticker, and a handmade African keychain, and your Project Black Ankh button that you can rock. Especially with this keychain, you can rock it too, just to show your unity and love for Africa and African people. You know, African people need genuine empowerment. The African working class needs all African people to move in the best interest of the whole people. So Project Black Ankh's efforts, for example, some of the photos here in Sierra Leone during the Ebola crisis, you know, would use cultural workers from the community to come and do jingles to help reintegrate or bring back in some of the Ebola survivors who are facing stigma in their communities. This is empowerment, right? So to know that we have even just the COVID-19 telehealth program, that's empowering to know that we have access to these programs and that we as Africans are using our skills. So if you feel empowered by this presentation, make a donation at the empowerment level, $100 to $249 on our website or Cash App or PayPal. Uhuru. So our next level is self-reliance. And this level is for any donations that are made between the $250 and $499 level. When you make a donation at the self-reliance level, you will receive, again, the same as the previous levels, the thank you card, the Project Black Ankh sticker, the button, the handmade African keychain, and you'll get a Project Black Ankh t-shirt. Y'all will really love these shirts. They are coming in hot off the press. So as when you get it, you will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know that you'll love your Project Black Ankh t-shirt. So donate at this level, rock your t-shirt and say that you stand for more than just humanitarian aid or what have you. You know, your donations are more than like putting your resources into humanitarian programs that will, you know, make you feel good about doing a donation, because APDEP and Project Black Ankh is not charity, right? So that's what charity does. It makes us feel good, and then we can just turn a blind eye. But charity depletes these nations of their resources and then comes to their aid, right, when disaster strikes. So we say yes to self-determination and self-reliance, and we say no to charity. So make your donation today at the self-determination level. Go to our website, make a donation on Cash App or PayPal. Uhuru. All right, our Black Power level. We are approaching our last two donation levels. So if you haven't made a donation at this point, do so now. Invite your friends and others who care about the lives of African people when disaster strikes. Make a donation right now. Encourage others to do so too. When you join at the Black Power level, for any donation made between $500 and $999, you will receive again the previous gifts, thank you card, sticker, button for Project Black Ankh, African and handmade African keychain, your Project Black Ankh t-shirt, and 15% off at Zenzele Consignment, which is again the economic institution that funds all the programs of APDEP. So African people, you know, we are a colonized people, and you know, all over the world. And we must understand that power is not going to be given to us, right? We must demand it and we must take it back. So Project Black Ankh has shown, you know, what it looks like for African people to have power in our own hands. We know how to solve our own problems. So let's build Black power through Project Black Ankh today. Make a donation, You know, your power is in your resources, both human and economic. So our power is also in our ability, right, to organize under principled unity. So help us today to support our medical advisory team to make this trip, to continue to build off of the inspiring examples of the medical internationalism platform in Cuba, and forward their responsibility to African people to join the struggle for Black power in the event of a disaster emergency and to protect our lives. You already know where to go. Make a donation, developmentforafrica.org/donate. And we're coming up to our last level here. Our final donation level is the Africa's Future in Africa's Hand level. Really, there is no greater way that you can show unity and support for this program today than at this level. Any donation at the $1,000 level will not only help us get halfway to our goal, but it's literally putting African hands in control of our future. So when you donate at this level, you will receive all the following and previous gifts: thank you card, Project Black Ankh sticker, a button, a handmade African keychain, as well as the t-shirt and $25 gift certificate to Zenzele Consignment. You know, we know that when disaster strikes, we will be vulnerable to tsunamis, to volcanoes, earthquakes, tornadoes, or other natural disasters, anywhere we live in the earth, right? But we also know that we will be hit the hardest. You know, right now, Hurricane Ida is happening right now as we speak. So this is not lip service, and we know that by now, right? So Project Black Ankh, help us build the opportunity to build a solid foundation so that we can train, mobilize, and organize the African workers in their communities to serve those in the world and come to our own rescue. Uhuru. So the question today, right now, is which level will you donate to today? So next slide, please. So think about it as you look back at our, thank you, comrade, as you look at our donation levels, really consider where can you put your resources towards today. Anything counts. And you can always come back and make another contribution. So I want to go to our last slide and just say thank you for tuning in, and please continue to make your donations. If you need to leave and come right back, do so. We still have a lot more for you in today's program, but let's build Project Black Ankh today. Uhuru.
Uhuru, Comrade Michelle, I really want to thank you so much for that call to join APDEP and to join in the process of raising these resources for Project Black Ankh. And I want to thank all of the people who have donated so far. Some of the names that I see Comrade Jamal with the $60 donation. Thank you so much, Comrade Jamal. I see Comrade Malik with a $10 donation. We really appreciate you, Comrade Malik. We see Comrade Johan with a $25 donation. So thank you so much, Comrade Johan. I'm sure there are other donations that are coming in or that maybe I haven't seen going back and forth from our platforms, but I just want to appreciate those who have donated so far. And I want to thank, again, Comrade Michelle for helping people to understand what it means to be a member of APDEP, what it means to contribute to our work to build Project Black Ankh. So thank you so much, everybody. So now what I'd like to do is I want to introduce Comrade Fofit Alkebalan. She is one of Project Black Ankh's leading medical volunteers. And I want to bring her on so that we could discuss a little bit more deeply the work that Project Black Ankh has been involved in during this period of the colonial coronavirus. Comrade Fofit is a retired registered nurse. She is leader in the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. She's the leader of economic development, which is our sister organization in the Uhuru Movement. And she does double duty by serving also as a medical programs coordinator for Project Black Ankh. And as I am as well, she's a member of the African People's Socialist Party. So I want to salute you, Comrade Fofit, and welcome you to the program today, Comrade Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrade. I am just enjoying the program. I said, oh, I got to speak too. So, but I'm just honored to be a part of the Black Ankh and APDEP. I'm a member of APDEP also.
Uhuru, Comrade Fofit, thank you so much. So, as you know, on March the 12th, 2020, Chairman Omali Yeshitela initiated People's War Commission against COVID-19. And the chairman made APDEP leadership of this commission prompting us to reignite Project Black Ankh in response to this worldwide emergency. The goal of the People's War Commission and of Black Ankh's work in this regard was to study the COVID-19 situation, sum up its implications for African people around the world, and to offer practical ways we could safeguard the health of our people during this time. One of the first things that Project Black Ankh did was to assemble our medical advisory team, which was made up of medical forces throughout our movement, including yourself, that we could begin to develop protocols for how our people should move to minimize our risks associated with COVID-19. We put, as you know, these protocols into brochures, put them into huge posters, flyers, and our organizers throughout the Uhuru movement began distributing these protocols by the thousands throughout African working class communities in the United States and in South Africa. So why, in your opinion, was it so important for us to do this, for us to take this on?
African people were dying, and the knowledge of this coronavirus had everybody scrambling, trying to figure out what should they do, what should they not do. There was some leadership needed, and Chairman O'Malley is always on it. And this was the commission to make it happen. And we were needed at that time, and we're needed now.
Uhuru. I really want to salute all of the members of the Uhuru movement who are medical forces who were in different parts of the movement, weren't necessarily assigned. Comrades like our Western Regional Representative, Comrade Bakri Olatunji, himself is a nurse for many years. Other comrades who were in African People's Solidarity Committee who work under the leadership of our party, and other parts of the movement, NPDUM, like yourself, and other parts, who were mobilized quickly to come into this medical advisory team that we could begin to sum this up. So I just really want to salute all those comrades. They may not all play roles at this time in the medical advisory team, but early on, when we really needed to just pull everything we could to see how we needed to move, play such a key role in the beginning of our COVID-19 work. So I really want to salute all of those comrades. So Comrade Fofi, so you helped us to recruit Dr. Loretta King. And again, we want to send our love, Dr. King and her family. She couldn't join us. She was scheduled to be with us today, but she had a family medical emergency. So she sent her regrets, but she was to join us today. So you helped us to recruit her into Project Black Ankh. And since that time, she has been an incredibly important leader in our work to build our international COVID-19 telehealth program. So I want to ask if you can tell us about the telehealth program. What does it do? What kind of impact do you believe that it's had to African people?
The telehealth, what is the telehealth program is? It is a free service to anyone that calls in and make an appointment to speak with a professional. We have volunteers that give of their time. They give back to the African people that need their help, because people don't have insurance. They don't have a doctor. They have no knowledge of what's going on. And with everything that's going on the internet, it's confusing. And what everything is people are saying is confusing. It clears up what people can do for COVID symptoms. If they're caring for someone with COVID, the coronavirus, you can call into this, you can make an appointment online and get a free video appointment with one of the professionals.
Uhuru. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Fofi. I mean, one of the things that was obvious to us, especially earlier on in the pandemic, when there was just so much confusion. I mean, people were saying, first of all, African people could not get this virus. That was one of the first things that came out. Don't worry, Black people. Somehow, some mechanism within our body that's different from other human beings will keep us from getting COVID-19. Then there were other kinds of, theories or really, interesting bad ideas about, this not being a virus, but maybe being connected to some kind of cell phone technology. They're all kind of real, masks were not necessary. They're all kind of really, or masks, there was another one, masks will make you sick, because you'll be breathing CO2 all day. And there was so much misinformation circulating that was really serving the purpose of disarming African people and not allowing us to be in the position to do what we could to minimize our risk of this virus, especially early on. So having this telehealth program, which to date now has served African people throughout the continent of Africa, Europe, and the US, I think has been an incredible way of showing that as African people, we can have our own independent systems of health. And we have African medical forces who are medical people for the people. These are people who have dedicated themselves to ensuring the health of African people who work with our telehealth program. And I want to salute Dr. King and all the rest of the providers who volunteer their time with our telehealth program.
Yeah.
So Fofi, what would you say, actually, before I ask you that, this webinar, obviously, as everybody knows, is a part of an effort to raise resources that we need to bring APDEP contingent, a Project Black Ankh contingent to Cuba with the IFCO Pastors for Peace Caravan. And I wanted to ask you, what is it about Cuba's approach to medical care that inspires you the most? I know we're going to be learning a lot about what Cuba has done in the face of COVID-19 during this trip and other really important things that we can draw lessons for, in our work in Project Black Ankh. But what is it about Cuba's approach to medical care that inspires you?
The fact that I'm a retired nurse, RN, but everything I've dealt with has been has been this system, and it is really broken. Cuba is a free medical system. They work for the people and they put their people's health first. That's what inspired me, because I want to learn and get inspired from what they've been doing, so we can we can do it for ourselves.
Uhuru, right on, Fofi. Unite with you on that. Totally. So what would you say other African medical professionals like yourself who are interested in volunteering with Project Black Ankh, or who may be thinking, is this something for me? What would you say to them?
Do it. Do it. Do it now. If you can donate 1 hour a week to this project, you will impact thousands of people that really need your assistance, your advice, your expertise. Do it. It's the best feeling that you can get from going through all of those years of studying. And because when I was doing it, I was saying, why am I doing this? What am I doing it? This is why I was doing it, so I can make an impact on my people.
Uhuru, Fofi. Finally, as we make the appeal to our members, our supporters, to our viewers today to contribute to our fundraising goal of $2,000, is there anything you can say to encourage other people to give and to help us to reach our goal today?
Yes, comrades, look in the mirror, and whatever you give, because I know we can do this, whatever you give, know that it's for your health and for the health of your family, your friends, and people you don't even know. A couple of dollars, give. We can make this happen.
Right on, Fofi. I want to really thank you for participating in today's program, and I really want to thank you more than anything, though, for your stance as an African woman, as an African revolutionary, as an African medical worker, for your stance to really recognize that your skills belong to our people and really take seriously your responsibility to the African nation. And I believe Your stance is truly, truly worthy of emulation. So I salute you, comrade. And I thank you so much, Uhuru.
I thank you.
Uhuru, comrade. So as a reminder, if you want to, like Fofi, if you want to be like Comrade Feist, who just made a donation to our effort today, to our fundraising goal, we want to remind you that you can go to developmentforafrica.org/donate to make a donation to our effort today. It looks like, okay, somebody is doing our totaling today. It looks like so far we've raised a total of $820. We're almost halfway to our goal of $2,000. I want to thank everybody who has donated so far. I know we can reach our goal of $2,000. Now, this is $2,000 of an overall $6,000 goal that we have to make this trip happen. This $2,000 we must raise tonight will get us a third of the way to what we need to do to make sure that our APDEP contingent, our Project Blackout contingent, can make it this trip to Cuba, and we can advance this really important work, build APDEP's Project Blackout, and specifically begin to build our capacity to have our own emergency medical response team. So this, again, any amount, no matter how big, no matter how small, is going to help us to continue to build this incredibly important anti-colonial African response program. So without further ado, I want to bring on our keynote presenter for this webinar. He is none other than chairman of the African People's Socialist Party, African Socialist International, the leader of the Uhuru movement. He is the leader of the worldwide International African Revolution. We appreciate the leadership that the chairman has provided, not only to APDEP and in this process of building Project Blackout, but to the entire African nation. I want to salute and bring forward my leadership, Chairman Omali Eshatella, who's going to give us a presentation on Project Blackout and why you should support it. Uhuru, Chairman, welcome.
Uhuru, thank you so much, Dr. Aisha Fields. And I just want to salute you. I want to salute Comrade Fofi and Comrade Michelle and everybody who has worked to make this webinar the success that it already is. And I want to express my deep appreciation for the efforts being made to build the Black Ankh, which is an extraordinarily important institution. And saying that, it's necessary to distinguish the work that's being done here from some typical charity. This is not to make a disparaging comment about charity in general, but it is recognition that a problem cannot be resolved through charity. That otherwise, we wouldn't be going to Cuba asking for the kind of training and support that we can get from a medical system that has been created by people living on this island that's been quarantined economically because they had the audacity, the temerity to fight to be a free and independent people. And they have paid a serious price for that. But even given the limited space that they've had on that tiny island, they have been able to accomplish things that with all the resources in the United States and certain other European countries, colonial countries, they have not been able to do. They have provided free healthcare. They have developed an actual healthcare system and provided free healthcare. They have provided education. They have provided the kind of services that the working class needs. And when I say they, it hasn't come as a consequence of charity. It's come as a consequence of the working people themselves having taken power over their lives in Cuba, and therefore being enabled to present what it is that they need as a people to satisfy some of the most pressing issues that we are all confronted with as human beings. And this, again, under extraordinarily difficult circumstances, especially given the quarantine, that economically, the attempts to assassinate the leadership of the Cuban government, the slander, enduring slander, all the efforts that they've made to isolate Cuba within the Americas and around the world. Cuba has done this, and it has been heroic, and that's one of the reasons we would go to Cuba. And then, of course, another reason we would go to Cuba is because our objective is to free ourselves also. And what I mean when I said that this is not purely some kind of a charitable program that we are involved in and that we are asking people to unite with. It is a part of the process that we have created as an African People's Socialist Party to win our own freedom, to win our capacity to serve our own interests and aspirations. What has happened in this case is that for the first time in history, African people who are globally colonized, in fact, who suffer and live under a colonial capitalist system, a system of oppression and exploitation that was born, that got its birth, and has its genesis in the initial attack on Africa that kidnapped African people, dispersed us against our will around the world, and then put us in circumstances in Africa and the other places where we have been dispersed, where life is extraordinarily problematic. And if we remember, comrades, that Africa is a place where human life actually originated, we know that there's nothing about Africa that would make it naturally, normally hostile to life. It is something that has been introduced to Africa by our oppressors, by those who came to Africa, attacked Africa, robbed Africa of human and material resources, and continues even up to now to humiliate Africa and African people who have been dispersed around the world. But today, the African people globally have our own revolutionary party that has determined that we are not going to try and win some kind of freedom within the system of colonial capitalism that exists around the world. That we are not trying to find a place, a comfortable place, if you will, within the system of colonial capitalism. That we recognize when we talk about our health issues, whether it's the colonial virus or any other thing that afflicts our community on a regular basis, that is really ultimately not a health question. It is a question of political power. It is a question of having access to our own capacity, our own self-government, our own economy, our own resources, our own extraordinarily rich African continent that would serve Africa and African people instead of colonizers who have come and attacked Africa and have captured and dispersed us around the world, enslaves us in Africa and enslaves us around the world. The question we understand is not simply a health question. Otherwise, you could not explain why on the richest continent on earth, we take an example, Sierra Leone, where you have mentioned so much work has been done by APDEP and our movement, the Uhuru movement, where the average lifespan is something like 37 years of age. That is extraordinary with all the wealth that is located there. And that is simply an indication, it is simply a representative of the kind of exploitation that occurs that sucks the resources out of Africa. And the reason that there is a better hospital, more advanced in terms of technology and what have you in the United States or in Europe and these other places is because the resources that would create healthcare for Africa and African people, these resources are being forcibly extracted by a colonial relationship. Our health is being forcibly extracted by a colonial relationship. In the United States, as an example, compared to Sierra Leone, there's a greater lifespan, but even in the United States, we're talking about a situation where there's something like an estimated 7 years less life on the average for African people here than it is for white people. And the reason is because we are colonized. African people are colonized. We live under a form of enslavement that's known as colonialism. And the colonizer has been Europe and European that gave birth to this unjust economic and social system that people complain about, that the Cubans fought a revolution to overturn, that revolutionary struggles throughout the United States and around the world have been fought to get rid of this kind of vicious colonial capitalist system. And that's what we are doing when we look at the Black Ankh work. When we look at the work of APDEP, it is a part of a process that the African People's Socialist Party, the leadership of the African Revolution, the leadership of the struggle for the total emancipation of Africa, the total unification of Africa and African people, this is what this party, and this is not just fighting for the emancipation, but fighting for the liberation of our people, the unification of our Africa and our people under the leadership of the African working class. That's what we are involved in. That's what this APDEP is all about. That's what Black Ankh is all about. It is recognition also that within the struggle for national liberation, which is the struggle for colonialism that unites our African people generally in some way or another to get rid of a foreign and alien domination. But within that struggle, even a class struggle is raging. And because of that, we see situations where other class forces who claim to speak for the interests of Africa and African people have meant something entirely different. With the so-called independence in Africa, we see no hospitals are being built, no infrastructure is being prepared, no major assault is being made on the mosquito that is responsible for malaria and the various other kinds of issues that come stemming from the infrastructure. The so-called leaders in Africa today, when they get sick, they don't worry about going to an African hospital. I remember, Comrade Director Aisha, when Comrade Omawale Kefing, that you spoke of, was in Sierra Leone and with you and other comrades, and he became ill and had to go to the hospital. And it was such a disastrous kind of situation that our people in Sierra Leone on a regular basis and all over Africa have to endure. So that people have to take their own sheets and their own medicine, and there are no resources that's available to the people. So this is the farce. And the working class, the African and working class, is that sector of the African population that is most affected by this relationship that we have to colonialism. Because the African petty bourgeoisie, middle class, they hop on airplanes and things like that. And they go to Paris and they go to England and they come to the United States and other places when they are ill. But the majority of our people can't do that. And even Africans who live in the United States can't get into the hospitals when we are ill. So we are looking at a struggle for national liberation. We are looking at a struggle for a national liberation that would happen under the leadership of the African working class so that we can have an entirely different social system as a consequence of that. So when we talk about building the Black Ankh, we are talking about negating the influence, the power of an alien colonial system that's based on exploitation, based on genocide, got its origin in genocide and exploitation, not only of African people, but masses of people around the world. We talk about Black Ankh. We say that Black Ankh is our response to the imperialist colonial capitalist Red Cross. That does not serve us. We have to have the ability to serve ourselves, our own people. We have to have command of our own resources, our own healthcare. And so we talk about Black Ankh as a part of a process of negating, getting rid of the colonial capitalist intervention in our lives, the foreign and alien exploitation, oppression that comes with it. The Red Cross has never served us, and the only reason it gives some impression of serving us, there are two reasons. One is because they are often afraid that whatever kind of disease that afflicts Africa and African people because of the assault by colonialism on our infrastructure, our resources, so that we cannot deal with our own health in a decent way, they often are concerned that they will unleash this colonial virus in a fashion that will affect them also. That's one reason. Then, of course, another reason has been in the past, especially, they want to show the superiority of a white nationalist colonial capitalist system. They want to be able to say that the masses of working and poor people are better off living under foreign domination than living with our own resources at our command. And under those circumstances, you might have a Red Cross that might every now and then do something, but generally speaking, they never do anything for us. And the fact of the matter is, We shouldn't want them to do anything for us. We should do exactly as we are doing now under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, to create our own power, to prepare for self-government, to create what Cuba has. And so we have in the United States and most of the European world, most of the world, in fact, there is no genuine healthcare system. In the United States, when the colonial virus struck here, it was every man and woman for yourself. Initially, even the people who have become noted for being in the advancement of responding to the colonial virus, initially were telling people that you don't need masks, et cetera. It was the African People's Socialist Party. It was the Uhuru movement. It was the APDEP that initiated the Black Ankh program that, despite what the government was saying, sent organizers out door to door, not only within the United States, but door to door, and in other places in Sierra Leone and South Africa, instructing people to do masks, and even in some instances teaching people how to make our own masks, and passing out literature about how to deal with the colonial virus. And this was even before the U.S. government even acknowledged that masks were necessary. In fact, they were saying that masks aren't necessary. They give a sense of false security, and therefore they are problematic. And that includes the noble and great Dr. Fauci that they talk about all the time. Dr. Fauci was saying that you don't need a mask. And Dr. Aisha Fields was saying, get the mask. We'll show you how to get the mask. And we will initiate a Black Ankh program through this process of informing and winning African people to a real, genuine healthcare system that we can create with our own hands, as the Cubans have created their own healthcare system. So there is no healthcare system otherwise. And we see the healthcare system being constructed when people can go right now, they can go online, they can go and listen and participate in getting information from healthcare workers about how to deal with various kinds of illnesses and disease that afflict us under colonial capitalism, and how to deal with the colonial virus. This is the beginning, the emergence of a healthcare system that drives us not only to better health, but to independence, because there is not going to be good health under colonialism. I don't care what you do, colonialism works to take our health from us like it takes every other resources that we have. It grinds us into deeper and deeper poverty and humiliation and the rest of that. Therefore, in dealing with the question of healthcare, COVID, or any other thing, we have to be dealing with struggling for our freedom as a people, and not only being free as a people, but creating a new social system that will elevate human beings, elevate the working people who create all the value to their full stature as a new ruling class temporarily in the world that we have to take command of. So this is what Black Ankh is about. This is what APDEP is about. This is what the call for you is about. You've given money to Red Cross. You've given money to all of these other United this and that poverty programs. Well, we're not fighting to be better off in poverty under this social system. We are fighting so that we can take command of our own lives as a people. It is a fight for the dignity of Black people, the dignity of African people, the dignity of the African workers who produce all the value, all the wealth that people enjoy here and in the whole global social system, which is a capitalist, a colonial capitalist social system that today, not only, although it increasingly, helps and supports and provides for Europe and North America with less efficacy than it has in the past, but everybody who's benefiting from this existing colonial, this existing capitalist system, which is global, exists at the expense of African and other colonized people. So I don't care if it's Chinese or anything else, if they're not fighting against this system, they're fighting to find some way to advance their own interests within the system. But that's not true under the leadership of finally the African people having our own party. And our own party has developed a long-range program for us to take power. We are preparing to be a self-governing people. This is what we're asking people to support with your contributions to Black Ankh. This is what we're asking people to support. We're helping these comrades get to Cuba so that we can do the kind of relationship building that we need to do with forces in Cuba, so we can get the benefit of the training and the experiences that they have in Cuba. And so that we can also extend, while in the process of then, a hand of solidarity with the Cuban Revolution that has been so significant and helpful to the struggles of African people around the world. There's a reason that Assata Shakur cannot today be in New Jersey, but she can be in Havana. She can be somewhere in Cuba, because this government is a government of oppression, exploitation of colonized people. And that's one of the reasons, by the way, that the United States government would do everything it can to crush and isolate Cuba and create economic quarantine of Cuba, because it has become this example of what oppressed and working class people can do once we come into the power on our own, of our own lives and circumstances. So the Cuban people have made tremendous sacrifices for the peoples of the world. The Cubans went to Angola and fought shoulder to shoulder with us against the South African regime when it was under the direct white colonial power, while it's indirect today, but then it was directly, and it was called apartheid. The Cubans were there with us. The Cubans have provided since it has come to power, support for our struggle, our revolution, and our people and our oppressed peoples here and around the world. It was Che Guevara, who actually was an Argentine, but who took part in the Cuban Revolution and had the support of the Cuban Revolution and the Cuban government, that actually went to Africa with the objective of trying to initiate a continental-wide guerrilla war to chase the colonizers out of Africa. That's why he was murdered. That's why Cuba is being punished because of that. So we have an opportunity now to move to take command of our own lives. And you can't take command of your own lives by trying to find a more comfortable place on the plantation, in the slave master's house. In order to be free of disease, free of anxiety, free of humiliation that comes with living as a colonized subject, free of the slander that's associated with being a colonized person, then we have to be engaged in taking power over our lives. And the Black Ankh is one means by which we make that struggle. And one thing that's so important about the Black Ankh is that it is philosophy. It's applied philosophy of African internationalism. Everybody, so many people talk about Black freedom and Black unity, etc., and they put that forth as this wonderful thing that we can aspire to. But the fact is that African internationalism, the philosophy of the African People's Socialist Party, is the philosophy that informed us that we need to make this practical and that we build this actual capacity. We create a process through which Africans from around the world can come together collectively. This is what unity is. It's not just an idea. It's Africans around the world who can participate in solving our own problems collectively, who can go, as the Cubans have gone, to different places around the world and creating this international organization, this Black Ankh, so that whenever there's a contradiction, a problem, even if we live under poverty, the worst kind of poverty, right now, we have the ability to train ourselves to respond to the kinds of emergencies and crises that colonialism provides for us, like the earthquake in Haiti that's just now occurred, that occurred in 2010 and killed 300,000 people, like the mudslide in Sierra Leone that killed thousands of people. We, like the flood in Houston, Texas, that so many of our people left so many of our people stranded. And of course, Katrina, people are aware of that. We can do this, we must do this. And people who are friends of Africa, friends of the African people, friends of the struggle for our freedom, friends of Cuba. If you believe Cuba is on the right side of the question because it fought against colonialism and won that freedom and is being punished today because of it, then you must believe in Black Ankh. that's moving on that same path, not just as it relates to a particular island, but the whole African world. That can influence the emancipation of all of the working and oppressed peoples globally who live under a global colonial capitalist system. We can defeat it. And building Black Ankh is one of the most significant steps that everybody can take to make that happen. Make your donation. Give whatever resources that you have. Give resources that you don't have. Act like you normally do when you struggle and you know that you want something. And even if you say you don't have the money to do it, you know what we do. Do that now in terms of contributing to Black Ankh, because it's a step toward the liberation of our people and the liberation of the working and oppressed peoples around the world. So Black Ankh is something that we have a responsibility to make happen. Let's send these comrades to Cuba. Let's deepen this relationship that we have to the Cuban revolution. Let's extend our hand in solidarity with Cuba and accept the solidarity that Cuba and the Cuban revolution is extending for us. So this is what it is that we are about. And I just want to express a tremendous amount of appreciation for the work that comrades have done. And the thing about the Black Ankh also is that it allows individuals all over the African world to exercise self-reliance. So people who we teach how to be a part of Black Ankh, from the smallest community in Sierra Leone or in northern St. Louis, the US, or in Brixton, in England, or in London, people can participate. And this is an act of self-determination, and beginning to act in this way, beginning to change the world in this way, it helps us to change ourselves, and masses of people grow greater confidence in our ability to be self-governing, to be in charge of our own affairs. And that's just part of what it is that participation in Black Ankh provides for us. So thank you, Comrade Director, Dr. Aisha, and all of the leading forces of APDEP who have made this particular webinar possible, and all of you who are doing everything we can, again, to get these comrades to Cuba, and all of you who are watching and otherwise participating with your contributions and making preparations to put forth your next contribution before this meeting ends. I want to say uhuru, thank you. It is our time. Let's take advantage of it at this moment. Uhuru.
Uhuru, Chairman. Thank you so much for just what is really a profound summation of Project Black Ankh. And I just really want to salute you, Chairman, for your unmatched history of struggle, for your leadership, for your unfaltering work to lead African people to a future of self-government, self-determination. You are the right leadership, and you are the leadership that's taking African people to a future of self-government. And I just really appreciate you so much, Chairman. So thank you for that profound presentation. Uhuru. So as a reminder, really, I want to just call on people again to make a donation today to this effort to build Project Black Ankh. We have to send this contingent to Cuba to help to advance our work to build Project Black Ankh and to establish our medical response teams. So again, you can go to developmentforafrica.org/donate, make your contribution. You can also donate via PayPal, going to paypal.me/APDEP, or by using Cash App. You can go to $AAPDEP and make your donation. The Cash App, any amount, no matter how big or small. Chairman told you, do what you got to do. We know how to make it happen. So do what you got to do. Dig deep. Help us to build this incredibly important anti-colonial African response program. So I want to just take a moment to thank everybody who has donated so far. Because of the contributions that people have made, we've reached $1,055 today in donations. I want to appreciate Comrades Johan Bedingfield for his $25 donation. I want to thank Comrade Malik for her $10 donation, Comrade Lisa Watson for a $100 donation, Comrade Jamal with $60, Comrade Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, Penny Hess, her $50 donation. Comrade Janice Kant, who gave $50. Comrade Raya Fogarty for her $25 donation. I want to give a big shout out to Sister Maria Odom for her $500 donation. Thank you so much, Sister Maria. Comrade Feist for his $10 donation. Thank you, Comrade Feist. Comrade Matum for $25. I want to salute and thank the Deputy Chair of our party, Onazanaya Shatella, and our Chairman, Omalia Shatella, their $200 donation today. So as Michelle mentioned, there's another way you can support this effort, and that is by joining APDEP. She told us earlier on that APDEP membership starts at just $10 a year. So if this is the work that you can see, and listen, you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a nurse, you don't have to be an engineer. The only thing you have to be is an African who wants to contribute your skills, whatever they may be, towards the process of building African self-determination, self-reliance programs. If you want to be a part of the process of building the Project Black Ankh community brigades or any of the other work that Project Black Ankh has laid out, you should join APDEP today. Again, membership starts at just $10 a year for students and unemployed and goes all the way up to our $1,000 level, which is our Kwame Nkrumah lifetime membership. You can do that. Join APDEP, see all of our other membership levels that Comrade Michelle laid out, going to developmentforafrica.org/membership. So I want to thank everybody who has joined us this afternoon and who has donated tonight. Because of your support, African people are building our own capacity to respond to disasters and emergencies that may happen anywhere in the African world. We want to remind everyone to go to our website, www.developmentforafrica.org. You can find healthcare tips, protocols for minimizing your risk of COVID-19, African internationalist homeschooling resources, and more. If you have COVID-19 related questions or concerns and would like to make a free appointment with one of our Project Black Ankh medical volunteers, you can access our COVID-19 International Telehealth Program by going to www.developmentforafrica.org/telehealth. Just as a reminder there, all of our appointments are in US Central Time. So no matter where you are in the world, just make the adjustment to your time zone. If you are an African who unites with what you have heard and you want to contribute your skills back to the global African community, join APDEP today. I really want to thank our special guests, our chairman, Omalia Shatella, Kofit Al-Kibalan, and Comrade Michelle Odom for all of their presentations and work to build Project Black Ankh. I salute you all and I thank you so much. It looks like, oh, wow, this is incredible. Comrade Deputy Chair Onazanaya Shatella, who is the president of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, just sent a very moving statement that I would like to read along with $1,000 donation that they're going to be making to this process. So I want to read this statement and just say thank you so much. It says, Uhuru APDEP, your sister organization, baddest nonprofit on the planet, the African People's Education and Defense Fund, unites with building this program and making this trip to Cuba. We will donate the Africa's Future in Africa Hands level right on $1,000 because we know training is the key to building Project Black Ankh. We want to recognize our incredible leader, Chairman Omalia Shatella, who created APDF and APDEP to negate the colonial capitalist system so we can place the economic power back in the hands of the African working class. Dr. Aisha, we want to salute your leadership and the work you continue to do to build the All African People's Development and Empowerment Project. We also want to express our appreciation to your team, Michelle Odom, Deborah Fofeet Warren, Chiwaniso Luzolo, Ndai Jikikai, Southern Regional Rep, Kobina Bantushengo, for the work that they do to build APDEP full unity. Onazanaya Shatella, President of APDF. Comrade Deputy Chair, we salute you, we love you, and we appreciate contribution, the donation that APDF has made and the tremendous work that APDF does throughout the African world. What a fantastic way to end our webinar. We have exceeded our goal. Thanks to that donation, we've raised a total of $2,055 of our $2,000 goal. I want to give a huge Uhuru salute and thank you to everybody who has donated so far. If you have not had an opportunity to donate, maybe you waiting on the next paycheck or some resources to come through, want to join, you want to donate, I really want to call on folks to continue to do that. We have an overall goal for this campaign to raise $6,000 so that our contingent can make the trip, this $2,055 that we've raised tonight is giving us a great head start towards the overall $6,000 goal that we need to raise for this budget, for this trip. And we've raised our goal for tonight, exceeded it. So thank you so much, comrades. I really want to salute everybody once again, and continue to follow us on the developmentforafrica.org, which is our website. You're going to be seeing more information about this campaign. You'll be able to purchase our Project Black Ankh t-shirts, our buttons, and other programs that will help us to raise the funds for Cuba. I want to also, before I close out, I want to salute Dr. Samira Adri, who I see has joined us this evening. Dr. Samira participated in our June webinar with IFCO, Pastors for Peace. She gave a powerful presentation laying out the history of Cuban medical internationalism and solidarity with African and other colonized people. And I really want to thank her for her participation and her salute this webinar. So who everybody? Let's build Project Black Ankh to capacity. One Africa, one nation. We will win. We are winning. Uru.